Hello. So the book wall is mostly gone because I've been packing it up because we are theoretically moving this summer. But I did want to share with you the 3 books I read this past week. There are only 3 for 2 reasons. The first reason is that I started reading the Gone series and they're big. And I'm currently, I'll talk about it a little more at the end, but I'm currently on the second one and I'm just kind of dragging it out because this is the sad Hunter Lefkowitz book. And also the second reason is the second book I read this week. But the first book, I did reread the first Gone book by Michael Grant. This series is like my favorite childhood series, teenager series, probably one of my favorite series of all time. It is one of those book series that came out in like the late 2000s. Sorry, I believe this first book came out in 2008. Yeah. About like kids killing each other, and the concept of this one is that one day everybody over the age of 14 disappears and a giant like bubble encircles this little community, think Under the Dome, but all kids, and also they start mutating and they have special powers, stuff like that. It's so good. Michael Grant is one of the guys who helped. His wife is Catherine Applegate, and he helped her write the Memoir series, and you can tell just by how, you know, similarly dark in theme the Gone books are to the Animorph series. These books, they don't hold back. I mean, everybody's gonna die. If you have a favorite character, they're going to die, unless your favorite character is Adelio. But he's not my favorite character. He's up there, but he's not my favorite character. My favorite character dies in book 5. So he made it most of the way. But this is a 6-book series, and there were actually more recently 3 other books were published as kind of like a sequel trilogy. I haven't read them, but they're on the book wall. I'm a little nervous too, but I've been rereading these books because I did recently repurchase them all in the beautiful, terrible old covers, but in hardcover. Because I previously had these mostly in paperback and a couple hardcovers near the end, and they were in the old covers. I love these terrible old covers. They're so bad, but I love this series. I love the characters so much. My favorite characters, I just spoiled to say that he died in book 5, but you know what? My favorite character is Howard. He's terrible. He's terrible, but I think he's really fun. Adelio's great, you know. But yeah, this is just a fantastic series. I rated my reread 5 out of 5 stars. I was a little bit worried when I first started going into it, because I wasn't like, I didn't like connect to it right away. I was like, oh man, this is something I grew out of. But then I got into it, and now I'm on hunger, and I'm just kind of poking my way through it because I'm like a little worried. But yeah, it's a good time. Then when it comes to the opposite of a good time, let's put this right here. I did read The 120 Days of Sodom by the Marquis de Sade. This is not my first book by the Marquis de Sade. I read Justine last year, and I actually really enjoyed Justine. I know it's a little extreme. The Marquis de Sade was known for writing stuff that was a little extreme, a lot extreme. He was a pretty extreme guy. He got locked up for it several times. But this is actually an unfinished work that he was working on when he was in the Bastille, like right before the French Revolution. And he actually kind of contributed to the whole fall of the Bastille. He was a little freak, and he was like yelling out the windows like, oh, they're torturing me in here. But then they moved him out of there. And basically most of this book was lost, and then they found it as what was finished, as well as a bunch of notes. Now here's the thing, you can tell that this book's unfinished because it's just not good. Like Justine was definitely a very acquired taste, but this one was like, Justine was fun because it was like, it had a whole bunch of like weird like French philosophy mixed in with all the like atrocities and stuff like that, and it had a cohesive story, and this was so repetitive and gross, and I can deal with gross if it's not repetitive and boring, and this was repetitive and boring, and man, I can only read about people eating shit so many times. Like, it's like solid 300 pages, and that's all it was, and I'm like, oh my god, like, can we not, like, I did like his little like notes to himself, because at the end of part 1 there's like this little thing of like author's notes where he was like writing notes of like, make sure that you like make a map because of like this chateau, because I don't know where all this stuff is happening, and he clearly forgot who some of the characters were a couple of times. It doesn't help when he has like a 6th of his class, his cast has names that start with a Z, and it's just, I kept getting them mixed up. Thankfully, he did provide a little list in the beginning. He actually put like Yeah, as numerous personages participate in the drama of this kind, notwithstanding the care we have taken in this introduction to describe and designate each one, we shall provide an index which will contain the name and age of every actor, together with a brief sketch of them all, so that should the reader, as he moves along, encounter what seems to him an unfamiliar figure, he will merely have to turn back to this index, and if this little aid to his memory suffice not, to the more thorough portion scribbled earlier, which was very nice. So we've got, all that, which was good, because I did reference that so often because I couldn't figure out some of the Z names. I knew some of the names I could not figure out if they were boys or girls. I just couldn't. So yeah, this was not good. It wasn't good. It just wasn't quality. I gave it a 2 out of 5. So it wasn't the worst ever. But it wasn't good. Then I did read fairly quick. This one actually finished in one day. This is An Arc of Real American by Julie Lythcott-haims. This actually came out in 2017. This is a book I won from Goodreads in 2017. So it's been around a while. But I really enjoyed it. It's written in like vignettes almost, but it's a memoir about this woman growing up biracial in America in like when was she born? Like the early 70s, late 60s, somewhere along the line. Let me see. Uh-huh. 1967. So she was born in 1967 to a black father and a white mother, and it's interesting kind of seeing her growing up and how she dealt with her kind of her identity and her heritage and all that sort of stuff. And it was well written. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done. And it was very easy, quick read. Like, not easy in terms of subject matter, because there was some stuff in there that was a little bit tough to get through, but it was very well written. It was very easy to read, and it was a good time. Currently, like I said, I am reading Hunger by Michael Grant, which is the second book in the Gone series, and as well as being this thick, it's huge. I think it's the biggest one out of them all. Fear might be, no, I think Hunger is pretty much the biggest one. It's like, how long are you? It is 590 pages, about 600 pages long. As well as that, it's also got some really sad character stuff in here that I know is coming soon, because I'm like 200 pages in, and I'm like, this has got to be coming soon. Like, if I start flipping, and if I see a hunt, it's in this next chapter. That's when it starts that I'm on. So that's why I'm going so slow on it, because I'm like just sad inside. Anyway, these are the books that I read this past week. That is all I have for today. I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.